Hey, welcome back to SK Hobbies AZ. And so what we're going to be doing in this episode is we're going to give you guys kind of a tour of our rigs and kind of tell you a little bit about each one of them and what we've got done with them. And we're also going to tell you kind of what they mean to each one of us in the family. So first up, we're going to talk about the Bug. So this, is a Gen 7. It's a Redcat Gen 7 Sport that we've kind of, we did a little bit of a modification to it and restored it back to its, former glory. But let's go ahead and get you guys up top and we'll talk about it. All right. So this is the Bug. We call this one the Herbie. If you guys ever remember Herbie, the TV show back in the day, rocked the number 53. We got the American Herbie right here. Also, by the way, it kind of got the Bug name because it actually sounds like a little bug rolling down the trail. So this guy's pretty much stock electronics. It's got the stock 550. I believe it's it's like the Hobby Wing stock motor system in it. Everything's pretty much stock in it except for these drive shafts for coming out of the transmission, going out to the front and rear axles. Stock pinion, stock spur gear. The battery straps were damaged in the ones that we had, so I had a set of these Arma 3S ones, so we kind of got those on. But this is the Bug, stock everything else. Tires, so we're running the Super Swamper tires, and we got the Gen 8 V2 hubs or rims, you want to call them. Wheels, somebody calls them, but then you got the tires, which are the Super Swampers. These are the rock tries, which are not like the standard ones you would find on the Gen 8. These are just some Amazon special ones. They are really soft. They do move around quite a bit. Gives it a little flexibility, but that's the Redcat Gen 8 Sport Bug Edition, also known as our Bug. Next up is the Redcat Gen 8 Pro Edition, and this is Ashton's rig. He is not really named him yet, but this is Ashton's rig. Everything is pretty much stock on this. We've not really done any kind of modifications other than the tires. We did put wheel weights in the tires. So we're running about, I think, 6 1/4-ounce wheel weights in the front, 4 1/4-ounce wheel weights in the back. And they're installed around the outside of the rim, inside of the tire, in between the rim and the foam. But yeah, this is Ashton's crawler. I'm sure that he'll name it eventually. He's still working on that. But I'm not really going to go up top on it because it's pretty much the same as the Sport, except for it's got, the Ender fitter wells. It does have the stock drive shafts on it. Right here, it's got the stock drive shafts, and everything else is, pretty much same motor. It's got that 550 motor and the same ESC, which I believe are both Hobby Wings. So it is running the stock rims too. But all right, next up is the Gen 8. So you guys have seen these in numerous videos. We do have some modifications and upgrades we have done to these and everything. The purple one is mine, and we call this one Purple Rain. And right now, this is just the green machine. That's what my wife calls it, the green machine. And but we'll go ahead and we'll open up the green one, and we'll bring you up top, but they're pretty much identical. The only difference is we got the green aluminum hubs on here, and on the Purple Rain, we've got black aluminum hubs. Same manufacturer. They weren't that expensive. We just got basic ones off of Amazon for, I want to say they're like 40 bucks. But let me go ahead and get the cover off, and then I'm going to bring you guys up top. All right, so up top, we've got stock electronics when it comes to the ESC. We did upgrade the motor to the Trailmaster Sport 550 12T, and that's by Holmes Hobby. Still has the stock steering servo. We did add the LED light kit. As you can see right here, we got the controller. So it has functional LED lights on the chassis and also on the shell in the for headlights and tail lights. And then so the white tail light in the center, when that one when we hit reverse, the lights come on and everything comes up that way. I did change out the Velcro. We put on this, it's that all watertight, waterproof style Velcro system. For now, we do have the earth magnets coming that we're going to weld into place right here. We're going to use some that E6000 glue, kind of weld them in there and into this spot right here. And then it'll kind of hold it into place there. Other than that, underneath, everything is pretty much stock. We are looking at replacing these drive shafts right here with aluminum eventually, and also the outside portal hub casings. We're going to get aluminum ones of those. I'm not really looking at adding any more weight to it, so we're just going to do that aluminum changeover on it, and I think we'll be good. We did do a roof rack for my wife's Gen 8 here. I took it off because my first design, it broke. So there was these little tabs that were here that this piece kind of glued onto and stayed in place. But as soon as we hit one tree branch, it ripped it completely off. So I've redesigned it. I've made this stuff a little bit wider. It's in the queue to be printed for with my 3D printer. But I've got some other projects going through that right now. So we did add some aftermarket stickers. I put a Holmes Hobby sticker on my wife's. I didn't really get one on mine yet. We do have our AZRC bashers and of course our SK Hobbies logo right there. But other than that, these Scout 2s are a beast, and I recommend anybody getting one of these if they're looking at a crawler. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so next up, we're going to jump into the basher world and into our bashing rigs. And right now, you're looking at the Arma Granite 4x4. This is used to be a Mega, and we did a complete conversion over to 3S on it, and which we'll talk about some of that stuff when we get the hood off. But we currently only run this on 2S, and that's because this is my 7-year-old son Logan's main rig, and he loves it to death. I've got pictures, which I'll put one down here somewhere at the bottom, of him actually hugging it in the car while we were out to go bashing. He was so excited. But he hasn't named this one. He calls it Money, but maybe that's the name that he's going to use it for. He was like, "Where's my money?" That he's talking about his basher. But let me go ahead and get you guys up top, and we'll take a look at the inside. All right, so in the inside, it's basically a stock 3S Spectrum system. It's running the 130 amp ESC, and I believe that these are, so it's the 4000 kV Spectrum Firma motor. So it is brushless. We did a conversion on the slipper clutch over to the 3S style slipper clutch. As you can hear, I got batteries charging in the background because we're getting ready to do some bashing. So we did that complete changeover and put in the new style of slipper clutch in it. Spur gear, we're running a 15-tooth spur gear in there. He doesn't need anything that's super fast. Drive shafts are the same. We did upgrade the shocks. As you can see right here, we've got aluminum shocks on here. They're an eBay special. I think we paid like 28 bucks for them. They do have the emulsion style shock cap. There's no bladder in these. So they kind of work pretty good. Differentials, everything's the same. The spur gear on the outside of the slipper clutch is the I believe it's a 54-tooth metal, hardened metal spur gear, so that's upgraded. We're no longer running the plastic ones. And then we did East Tactics modifications that he did on his Kraken. We did the same modification on these guys to utilize these 3D printed twist caps that we got. So we've got the set screw down there. We put the body on. and these bad boys just screw on, so I don't have to worry about him losing any clips. So that is our Arma Granite 3S. We're going to move on. All right, so next up is Sheila. So this is Ashton's Basher rig. This is the, now it is a 4S Big Rock. So it is an Arma. It's an Arma Big Rock, and it is running 4S, but we've done a lot of modifications. You can see it's not got the standard tires on it, which we'll talk about that, but let's go ahead and get you up top so you guys can see this bad boy. All right. The Big Rock. So, of course, we've got our SK Hobbies logo on it. We don't really have any other stickers on it other than we do have the Arma on the back side, and we've got our AZRC Basher sticker on the top. It is the standard Big Rock shell. Underneath, body clips done the same as our other 3Ss. All of our 3Ss are running these new twist top lockdowns, so we don't have to worry about anything. The electronics is not stock. So we're running the 4S electronics in this. So we've got still the 100, I think it's the 130 amp ESC, and the motor in this bad boy is the 3150 kV. So, and we also got a fan assembly on the top that normally comes on the Big Rock, but we put that fan on there. It runs pretty good. The slipper clutch, we did upgrade the slipper clutch. It's got 4 slipper plates in it. So with having that 4th slipper plate in there, it works a lot better, especially when you're running it on 4S. We got a different type of shocks on it. They still have that emulsion cap on it, so it gets that smooth operation. But yeah, so it's just I think we paid like $35 for these, a set of 4 shocks on eBay. So it works pretty good. As you can tell, the tires are different. So what we did is we converted this one over to run the Granite tires on it. And once we did that, this thing it widened the stance. It widened the stance. If I show you the original tires, you can see right there, lining them up, it's a lot wider. If I go on this side, you can see a little bit better too. Let me get my thumb out of the way. But yeah, you can see it's a wider tire. So we got rid of these guys, put the wider tires on it. It also, I believe they're about the same height, maybe a little bit shorter. So it's a little bit shorter. If I get it on camera right. So it makes, the tire disappears, and that's because the tire right here, you see right there, the Big Rock tires are taller in height. So widens the stance on it, lowers it down a little bit, so it gets a little bit, more, I guess, ergonomics going through the ground or across the ground and stuff like that. Kept the same wheelie bar in the back, but this is the Arma 4S Big Rock, and my son has named this one Sheila. So that's his Sheila. All right, so next up, we're moving up in the scale. So we're moving up into the 6S line. So we're going to be talking about this, and then we're going to move on to the main events. So this is my oldest son Harlan's buggy, and this is the Typhon, and there's not much been done to it, and on top of that, he doesn't really clean it as much. So your up top view, you're going to see a bunch of rocks and stuff that he still hasn't cleaned out of this bad boy. Stock electronics. This is a V1 platform. So we did do a little bit of modifications to it, but let me go ahead and get you up top and I'll show you what we're talking about. All right, so up top and everything, we're running some cheap Amazon tires. I think they were like $26 shipped for these tires, but surprisingly, they work really, really good. I was surprised on the performance of them. They've lasted longer than some of the other tires that we purchased. But stock BLX system here. Front rear differentials, 20K in the rear. We're running 50K in the front. and we're running 500K in the center diff. And with that being said, we did upgrade the to GPM shock towers in the front and in the rear. As you can see, they're the green ones right here. We're running a 3D RC wing mount, so it's got that nice flexible wing mount on it. And shocks, I believe we're running 60K in the front and 45K in the rear for the oil. We do have the Arma upgraded bumper right here, and this is the Arma Kraken's bumper from the V5 that we put on it. So we just threw that bad boy on there. Other than that, it's completely stock. We've got a GPM servo horn, and we're running the it is the DS3235 China special servo in it. It's a 35 kg servo. It works pretty good. No complaints. Outside of that, he's running a FlySky receiver and controller, and he's doing pretty good. But we did upgrade these shock tower mounts for the shocks. We upgraded them from the V1 shock tower mounts to the V5 shock tower mounts. We removed the mounts that I removed off of my Kraken. We put onto this bad boy and got this guy up and running really good. So he's got the bigger shafts on there for his Typhon. But all right, let's continue on. Okay, we are down to the last two of the big boys, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the smaller ones we've got too. But this guy, this is Black Betty. This is my wife's pride and joy. She puts the K in SK Hobbies. She's the kicker, and she always kicks our butts at everything. So with that being said, let's talk about Black Betty. So Black Betty is originally a 10th anniversary edition Outcast, put out in 2019 by Arma. There was 500 of them made. We've got one of the 500. We didn't buy it brand new. We bought it used. And with that being said, we bought it for used prices. The guy that was getting rid of it was, just he wasn't using it. It wasn't getting used. He just wanted to rehome it. So we got it, and he had a basher shell for it already. He had a Notorious basher shell that he was using on it. So we were like, why not? So that's what we do. This is my wife's primary basher with this shell. And we keep this, and my wife calls this her fancy dress. So if she wants to have her fancy dress on, Black Betty gets her fancy dress. So eventually we're going to be replacing the Notorious logos. I'm going to make a nice new logo for her for the Black Betty. And other than that, it's a standard Notorious shell. We got our SK Hobbies logo on it. My wife loves Black Rifle Coffee, so she's got her Black Rifle Coffee sticker on it. And then, of course, we're supporting our AZRC bashers because we are members. So let me go ahead and bring you up top, and we'll talk about what we got under the hood. All right. So Black Betty running the Daboost backflip tires that came with it. This is our second set because I blew a set up in a previous video. Wing mount, we're running the 3D RC wing mount. Shock towers are the original shock towers from the 10th anniversary edition. That's why they're kind of stainless steel looking. Same with the shocks. The shocks are also got that brushed aluminum stainless steel look. So this crossbar right here is the same. It's got that brushed aluminum. I didn't scrape that off. That came with this guy when we bought it. The electronics in it. So originally it had the original Arma electronics. And so I put in the motor was perfectly fine. I'm still running the original motor that came with this bad boy, which is the 2050 kV. It's the BLX one, not the Spectrum one. But I do have the Spectrum ESC. We upgraded it to the Spectrum 150 amp ESC. Pinion gear wise, we're running a 15 tooth pinion. My wife's not into speed. She's into bashing, so she's only been running the standard pinion gear. The differentials have been upgraded. We got completely aluminized red metal pinion or differential covers in there. We got the Arma ones, and still the stock gearing on that. The servo, we're running a Power Hobbies 729 MBL servo. It's all metal gear. It's digital. It's awesome. Never had any problems since we upgraded to that. And then we're running a Techno servo horn on it that has actually been printed by M2C Racing. And then we are running the emulsion shock caps on it. It's got the emulsion shock caps from M2C Racing. It's got the M2C Racing shock mounts up here. So we're running that. We're running a 3D RC bumper on the EXB bumper that we upgraded it to. We did upgrade the chassis from the stock chassis, and we put the EXB Outcast chassis on it, or Notorious chassis, if you want to say. We are running RPM front lower A-arms. The upper A-arms are not RPM. They are the standard Outcast A-arms, along with the rear. The linkage is all the same. We did upgrade my wife's front linkage to the rear linkage I removed off of my V5 Kraken, which is a little bit thicker. We kept breaking those thinner ones on here. So we put these thicker ones on, and it seems like it's been working pretty good. We do have M2C centerline drive shafts installed, and also we have the M2C front and rear dog bones installed here into the CVDs in the front and into the standard dog bone replacement in the rear. We are also running both front and rear diff housings, are the Hot Racing aluminum diff housings, and then we're also running the front and rear hubs right here are also all aluminized. They're the Hot Racing hubs. So other than that, that's what we've got going on. We're running Spectrum transmitter and receiver, and this is connected up to a DX5, DX5C. And then also we did upgrade the front upper A-arms. We upgraded that to the EXB mounting system. If you can see right here, you see the red and that, and then we shimmed it in so there's no movement on this anymore. Very little movement. Same body mount system on the top. We use the screw-on nuts, and it's the modification from East Tactics, and that's Black Betty. All right, so this brings me to my last RC for the bashers. This is the Kraken. I have deemed it the Kraken. It is a Kraken, but it's been modified. So that's why I've removed the Kraken logo on the side. This thing has got all kinds of different modifications to it. I did a live stream, where I installed a new chassis and made this thing the Kraken. But let's go ahead and bring you up top, and we'll talk about what we got going inside. All right, so let's get under the hood on it. So we put the Mojave chassis plate on. We put the Mojave crossbars. We've got the Mojave / Talon chassis supports. And we started off with the EXB roller kit, and we put in the Castle Monster Mamba X ESC with the 1717 Castle motor system. We've got the sensor wire connected up, running the same servo as we were running in Black Betty. And this is that Power Hobby 729 MBL. It's been great. I upgraded that about 5 months ago, and we've not had any issues since we've upgraded it. So that's awesome. Running EXB shock towers front and rear. We're running a 3D RC wing mount. We're running the Hot Racing wing mount hardware up on top. We're running the standard EXB shocks, but we did do a conversion to the emulsion shock caps on it. We've also got the M2C Racing shock mounts right here, and we're running M2C front and rear dog bones, and then the CVDs in the front up here. We're also running a 3D RC bumper on the EXB, the spring. Currently right now we have the Hot Racing rear diff housing installed, and then the center drive line on front and rear is also M2C, and we upgraded that to and continued upgrading it when we did the Mojave. You got to replace that front one from the Kraken to the Mojave one. It runs the same rear as the Kraken does. electronics for control. The receiver is the same as the Outcast that we put in Black Betty. We're running it off of the Spectrum DX5C controller, and then we've got the associated receiver that came with it in there. Also, the same thing with the steering turnbuckles right here, the steering linkage. We replaced that with the rears off of the EXB that I had, that I modified. I had a spare set of those, so I put those on the front right there. And we put those front ones on, put the rear ones from my old EXB onto here and kind of stiffened it up, and that's kind of made a huge difference. I've not really had too much success with upgrading the shock ends on these. I upgraded them to the RPM ones, but I keep breaking them, and the EXB ones that came on this bad boy, tended to work and kept working. So I've got all brand new EXB ones on there for now. So if anybody knows of another option for me not breaking it, because I don't jump this thing very good yet. So when it comes down to it, I'm breaking that stuff. For differentials, it's the same. It's the same as we're running in the Typhon. We ran it in the Outcast. I know I didn't put that out in the Outcast, but we're running 20K in the rear. We're running 50K in the front, and we're running 500K in the center of here in the Outcast. Other than that, she's stock. We're getting ready to do a second maiden voyage of this bad boy today. And so I'll be looking for that video coming up. We'll bring you guys back up front. All right. Last but not least, we have 4 SCX 24s. I've got mine hanging up in the back up there. It's the C10 truck. And then this is my son Ashton's Deadbolt, which is the green Deadbolt edition, SCX 24. They are all completely stock except for this bad boy, and this is why I'm showing you this guy. This guy is running the brass inserts on all 4 wheels. So it does make a lot of extra noise when it comes to this guy running. It sounds like my batteries are done, so we can go bashing. But yeah, so we got these. This guy is really the only one that's upgraded. And so moving on from there, we have the C10, both colors in the C10. We've got that gray one back there. We also have the blue one, and then we have this Deadbolt, and then we have the red Deadbolt, which I don't have currently right now. They're playing with them in the house. So with that being said, that is our plethora of RCs. I do have one last one we can talk about real quick. And this one, I don't really use it anymore. This one's up for sale, but this is the Arma Sentin 3S. It started off brushless. It's got the same conversion that I did on the Granite, but it's currently up for sale, so we don't really use this bad boy. It's still running off of the pins. I didn't do any body transition of it for the body mounts, but it's running the stock BLX ESC and motor, but it does have the upgraded spur gear, and it's running also I believe it's the 54 tooth metal spur gear in here too. Pinion gear, this guy's got a 20 tooth pinion in it. It is the Robinson Racing 20 tooth pinion. Other than that, stock tires. The shocks they're all brand new shocks. I rebuilt them, and then I had some that I replaced on them. It's running the stiffer springs, but she's a beast. It's just I really don't need so many 3S's, so that's why it's up for sale. So if anybody's interested, hit me up on my email, and we can talk about it. But that's going to conclude the tour of all of our RCs here at SK Hobbies, and kind of get you guys a little intermediate episode of what we all have and what we're working on. We've got more coming to the channel. We're going to bring in some more RCs. I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of any of them anymore. I think we're just going to be adding to the collection. This is going to be the last one we're going to get rid of because we don't really use it. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys like that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, bash that bell. I'm Stitch, SK Hobbies AZ, and I'm out.